Greetings, valued Pull listeners, and welcome to episode 103 of the Pull List Podcast, a bi-weekly show about comics, pop culture, and faith. My name is Hector Miray, and I'm joined today by the fantastic Todd Turner. Hi, Todd.
Woo-hoo. Hello.
Uh, we're here to share about comics, discuss life, and all the themes that purvey in between. So prepare yourself. You're about to get pulled. Intro music. Woo. All right.
You're about to get pulled. That's
You're about to
terrible.
I
Oh,
thought
God.
it was great. I thought it was
I'll
great.
give you that. I love it. Heck yeah. Hector, thank you. I'm so glad I'm here.
On today's episode of the Pull List, we've got a great show for you, Lord willing, and the creek don't rise. We're going to hit some of the latest news out of San Diego Comic-Con, some industry stuff that has been happening over the course of the summer, our must-pull recommendations over the past couple months from the summer, and some new number ones, as well as our bag and board section for books that we are saying goodbye to or are close to. This is the Pull List Podcast.
Better put the word out. Can't wait for the nerd out. Better put specs on. Better bring next song. I cut handsome checks for my expansion sets. They call me Obi-Wan. Act like you know me, son. Better put the word out.
So, Todd, San Diego Comic-Con has taken place.
Yes.
And you and I were just talking about the fact that this is was also my big con weekend for GalaxyCon Raleigh, and
Correct. Yes, sir.
I think it's pretty bold of GalaxyCon to go trepidatiously doing their show the same weekend.
It looked to me like you had plenty of people there.
Yeah, there were plenty of people, and I think technically I had my second best show ever.
Wow, that's amazing.
Uh,
You know, they're now calling the San Diego Comic-Con the Corona-Con. And if you heard that or not,
no, I hadn't heard that.
like bukus of creators and artists have all come down with the Rona, including Marv Wolfman, who's like 78 years old.
That is no bueno, sir.
Is no bueno. Yeah, that's the big deal. Anyway, but yes, we
Well,
did get a lot of cool information.
we did get a lot of cool information. Did you see the thing about that happened before the con that said we have until 2026 for the hotels to cool their jets, or it's going to move out of San Diego?
Really?
Comic-Con International put out a statement about 2 to 3 weeks before San Diego Comic-Con and stated that if the
They're charging
hotels
too much.
if they didn't stop price gouging and making it a absolute nightmare for people to get hotels in the San Diego area, that they were going to move the show to a different place and possibly a different state.
Oh, wow. That's crazy pants.
So Comic-Con International could end up in like Houston. So I don't know that. I can't imagine it being the comics hub of the world in Texas or something.
Right.
But that being said, that was what was your biggest takeaway of news that you got from San Diego Comic-Con personally?
Well, it's the Marvel Hall H. First of all, somebody, believe it or not, videoed the whole thing, but took out the video clips. So Marvel left it up on YouTube. So you could watch the entire Marvel thing without the video clips.
Okay.
And which was amazing. I was like, oh, this is not clickbait. It's actually 40 minutes. And they actually listed
Todd,
where
did you
everything was.
you clicked on that without knowing if it was safe?
Well, it was on YouTube. I mean, it could have been terrible. I mean, I bought a terrible Namor book one time just because he was coming out in a movie. So, I mean, I'll try just about anything.
And I know you're not a wrestling person, but no, do you watch wrestling?
I have lately. Are
I was
you
about to say,
kidding me?
yeah. So Namor, the more like because I've gotten into wrestling more since that movie,
Right.
Namor looks like an Uso, not like
Nice.
Namor. But go on.
This is totally off comics, but of course we're huge Cincinnati Bengals fans because we grew up right across the river. I don't know if you saw Joe Burrows, who's the big quarterback, came out and everyone was saying, "Oh, he looks like Eminem from Slim Shady." That is not who he looks like to me. Cody Rhodes is who he looks like. So
Yes,
much so that Cody Rhodes put out a picture of, put like the belt on him and put his tattoo on his neck. And it was like, what's your story? Or how's your, what's he always say? Something about his story or
Finish the
whatever.
story.
Finish
Yeah.
the story. Yeah. So anyway, that's completely
Well,
different.
also on Cody Rhodes / Nerd News, did you see the thing with Homelander?
No,
Um,
I just can't watch The Boys.
I feel you, understandably so. That is not a show that says Todd's going to love this show. But so Cody Rhodes has also gotten comparisons to Homelander, especially with his outfit. So, there's a WWE event happening. We're recording this on the 1st of August.
Yep.
There's a WWE event happening on the 3rd, which is SummerSlam. The event prior, a month ago, was Money in the Bank.
Okay.
Money in the Bank was sponsored by The Boys.
Oh, wow.
Like, so even the Money in the Bank briefcase actually said Vought on it, which is the company from The Boys.
Yes, I do know that. Yes.
But they, as part of the promotion for that, they actually had Cody Rhodes in
Homelander outfit.
the Homelander outfit with the actual Homelander cape from the show.
Well, all right.
And
then.
so there was a Boys promo, and all of a sudden you see a slow turn, and it's Cody.
And it's Cody Rhodes.
Yeah, but
I love Cody Rhodes. I love him.
so what else with San Diego really hit you?
Well, first of all, I've had no interest really to see Captain America: Brave New World until I watched the panel. I mean, look at Harrison Ford coming out and Anthony Mackie. I just love Anthony Mackie. Gino,
Giancarlo Esposito.
thank you, Giancarlo Esposito. He revealed who he is.
Oh, who is he?
He is the king of the Serpent Society. He is Sidewinder. It was funny because he looked at Kevin Feige, and Kevin Feige's like, you can do it. He said, I get to do it here? And they're like, yeah. So he told him who he was, which was different than when the director for Thunderbolts, because if you notice, the Thunderbolts title has an asterisk at the end of Thunderbolts.
Right.
And he goes, well, that asterisk, and he looks at Kevin Feige, and Feige's like, nope. He's like, okay, I can't tell you. So I really did enjoy that. Anthony Mackie hinted that there are going to be multiple Hulks in this. Who knows?
Yeah.
So I really did like that. And Harrison Ford seems genuinely excited to be a part of this, which I thought he's not going to want to do this, but
And I felt like this would be a shoehorn thing, but he does seem excited. Now, I've been on the note that I've been excited about this project like the whole time.
Oh, okay.
I enjoyed Captain America and the Winter Soldier of the show, or Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
I loved that show. It was great.
Well, I knew that this was a direct to that, and so that just kind of had me going in general. I am interested. I'm low key hopeful that Seth Rollins still somehow remains in the film.
Okay.
If you're not aware that he's another WWE wrestler, and he filmed scenes with the Serpent Society.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And it was said that all of the Serpent Society scenes were cut.
Oh,
and because you can actually see him in his Serpent Society costume, the photos from the set shoots and everything else.
Okay.
And I just think that would be a good opportunity for him to be in a Marvel movie. Like, it's not like he's broke or anything.
Right.
But
this is going to be the fullest WWE edition.
Yeah, dude, I think it's heading that way, man. It's good stuff. It's good entertainment.
It was.
But so I think there are some good announcements with that. Also, how did you feel about the whole Doctor Doom thing?
It was interesting because I listened to the panel, and that basically, if Feige was like, we all know Kang's gone. Forget the Kang stuff. Kang? Who's Kang? Right? So they are doing Avengers Secret Wars. I don't know which Secret Wars they're doing. It makes it sound, it's what it sounds like to me, that it's going to be the OG one. And in order to get
realistically, all the other Secret Wars were terrible. But.
Yeah. And they already did the Secret Wars in the Skrull TV show with Nick Fury. Pretty much the Secret Invasion. Well,
Secret Invasion,
Wars. That was Secret Invasion. Yeah.
Secret Wars is the other planets, multiverse stuff.
Right. That was the original, where we get the first Venom costume, but not called Venom. But anyway, so the Russo said, in order to do Secret Wars, we have to set up for the movie. We just can't come in and do Secret Wars. So we have to introduce the famous villain And of course, then a bunch of Doctor Dooms walk out on stage. And, that's going to be called Avengers Doomsday, which I guess comes out 2025 is the plan.
Yeah,
2020,
which I think was gonna be the one that was Kang Dynasty.
right.
Yeah.
And with Secret Wars 2026. And then they said, in order to have the greatest villain, we have to have the greatest actor. And then they parted, and out comes the guy and rips it, and it's Robert Downey Jr. Um, it's multiverse. So I'm excited because I would love to see him be a bad guy. I mean, he's can be a really good villain. Um, he's not going to be Victor Von Doom. He's going to be Tony Stark.
Are you sure?
I nerd bet it. I would say
All right.
he's going
Everybody,
to
let's
be,
mark this down.
yeah, he's not going to be Victor Von Doom. No way.
My money is that
Mhm.
he's Victor Von Doom.
Okay. All right.
Um, but that even if he is Victor Von Doom, he might have the same like face as Tony Stark. But here's the deal: I don't expect to see a lot of his face.
Yeah, he's gonna do a Hugo Weaving like in V for Vendetta, right?
Yeah, and I genuinely think because of that, we're going to get Victor Von Doom.
Oh, I hadn't thought about that.
I think that's where we're going to go with it, just because, yes, as people are saying, it's cash grabs and all those things. Listen, whatever you got to do to keep something alive,
Man. Hey,
and
I
yeah,
I just hope they do it well. I'd still I don't know. I'll be surprised if he is Victor Von Doom and not Tony Stark as Doom, because they've done it multiple times in the comics.
I just don't see him coming back as a Tony Stark variant.
Okay, I can see that. Yeah.
I see that him being the actor that's playing Victor Von Doom, and I feel like he's going to sell that completely. But
Well,
the one phrase he did say was "same
new
task."
mask, same
Yeah,
task.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, and if the whole idea was that Tony Stark is trying to save the world, so was Victor Von Doom.
Which plays into comics that just came out this today, actually.
Yeah. So,
We can talk about that.
yeah.
So I was impressed with that. I honestly lost all of the DC announcements once, and other comic book announcements. I just completely lost them all when the Marvel Hall H, because I thought that's a big mic drop right there.
There weren't a ton of DC announcements, I don't think, just because uh they're in the process of building their world,
Yeah.
and that they weren't there for that. So one thing DC announcements that I did want to hit is do you know what came out today?
No, what came out? How did I miss
Today
it?
was the release. Today, as I'm saying this, August 1st, is the release of Batman Cape Crusader.
Oh, is this
Uh,
the new animated?
the new animated series, which is co-created by Bruce
Bruce
Timm,
Timm. Yeah.
and it's the spiritual successor of or spiritual precursor to Batman the Animated Series by everyone that has been discussing it.
We get a gender swapped penguin,
Do we?
Minnie Driver.
Okay.
She's going to be a female penguin, and she's supposed to be just ruthless.
And we're getting our on-screen uh introduction to onomatopoeia,
Oh, nice. Very good.
and I can't wait to hear him do this.
Yeah.
Um,
Like, what's
but
his voice? Who's the voice actor? Do we
I
even
didn't
know?
see it. I didn't see it. I
That's
was
gonna
kind
be
of
it.
waiting to.
Boom, crash.
Yeah, and then the guy who's
Kerplunk.
playing Batman is the dude from Black or Midnight Mass, the horror series. He's the main
I've never
character from
seen
that.
it.
I
Okay.
know horror is not your jam.
It's
Uh,
not.
but so again, we're gonna segue, and I want to be moderately respectful of our time and not spend all this
Okay.
talking
Yeah,
about
because we
horror.
could just talk about junk. Yes.
But I'll say that like Midnight Mass, um, is a story about a little church on an island, and where a old priest thinks he's been healed by an angel,
Okay.
and so he is passing the angel's blood off to his congregants, and they're all being healed.
Oh,
because in this world, no one in this world has ever heard of vampires.
oh, nice. Okay. Is this a segue into Blood Hunt?
It could be, but so like literally, it's a thing of a 80-year-old priest who goes back to looking like 40, and a girl with paralysis that's able to walk, and the whole thing is you have to come to realize no one in this story has ever heard of a vampire. They don't exist in this world, and this dude literally thinks he's giving out angel's blood to
Nice.
heal people,
Yeah.
and it goes about as well as you expect it can.
Yeah.
Uh,
Thanks a lot, Dracula.
but it's a lot of exposition on the church and existence and things like that. But the guy who's the main priest is guy who's playing Batman. His name is Hamish something.
All right.
Um,
Might have to
but
check it
yeah,
out.
there's a lot of good stuff. I am fully planning that first moment I get, I'm going to binge the whole season because it's out, and I
All
think it's
right.
only 10 episodes. Each one's an individual story, but it has one overlapping thing. So yeah. Any other nerdy news or anything that popped up for you?
No, that's about the biggest stuff.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
good.
one more thing that might be important. Colin Kaepernick. Everybody remember Colin Kaepernick?
Yeah.
He has raised like millions and millions of dollars for a new company that is it's an artificial intelligence company that's supposed to help independent people make their own comics called Lumi, I think is what it's called. I read that today and I thought, oh yeah, there we go. How you have the computer make the comic for you? I don't know how that works, but there you go.
That sounds horrible,
It sounds horrible.
and
Yeah.
I'm sad that that's existing.
Sorry. That's just killed it right there.
Yeah. Also, with that note too, there was a s- something I had just seen in that kind of almost like that same bubble, but it's left me, so I'm gonna progress on. So
All
we
right.
are gonna jump into our polls for the month, and so for the past couple months. So let's alternate. We'll go back and forth. So Todd, hit me with your first poll for.
My first pool is this has got the longest name of any book that's in my pool. From the DC Vault, Death in the Family, Robin Lives, issue 1. um,
Okay.
so before the pull list stopped for the break, DC put out basically it was a what if Jason Todd had lived. And so they had already, of course, they'd already had that book written because they didn't know what the vote was going to be if Jason Todd was killed by the Joker or if he lived. So they printed that book and it came out. This is the next book that follows that if Jason
Okay.
Todd lived. And it opens with the murder of the Joker. The Joker has been murdered.
I missed that. Show what's it look like?
Well, I have a variant cover.
Okay.
Mike Mignola did all the covers for the original Death in the Family book. So I got the Mike Mignola variant. It is so cool.
Yeah, I
Um,
saw that and just thought it was the reprint again. I didn't realize it was the next issue.
it is the next issue. I think it's going to be four issues, I believe. And this follows. I'm sure that the person who killed the Joker is Jason Todd. We've not gotten there yet, but this is Joker's been killed. Jason Todd is falling apart. It's falling back and forth. Bruce hires a psychiatrist to help Jason, and we're basically getting her narration throughout this story. Um, Jason goes off to try to defeat the Scarecrow by himself, and then the Scarecrow hits him with this new type of toxin, and it just throws him back in um, to the fear about all of it with his, with losing his mom and being beaten by the Joker, and Bruce almost kills the Scarecrow and to try to get Jason back safe, and it is drawn by Rick Leonardi and written by J.M. DeMatteis. So it's an old crew writing. The paper is even like the old paper. It's not like the shiny stuff. It is like the comic really came off the next in the 80s when the vote came out. And it's really good. It's showing some serious emotion. I can't wait to see where it goes.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, I didn't even know that existed.
Yeah, there
And
you
I
go.
saw it on the shelf and just kept going because, like, there's always so many
I know
books.
there's 17 million Batman books,
Yes, there really are.
and you got to stop sometime. You got to bag and board something.
So,
What do you
my
got,
first,
Hector?
I've got the Whisper Queen, #1, uh, from Image Comics. And it's a Chip Zdarsky fantasy book.
How did I miss this?
Dude, it's flipping gorgeous. Let me just say though, mature reader,
Understood. Yeah.
mature reader. Um, and this is maybe some of the best world building in a single issue I've read.
Wow. All right.
This reads like Warcraft and Game of Thrones squished together.
Okay.
The story kicks off with the assassination of a king. Literally, the first page is black page says the king is dead. The king's long-term assassin, who is serving a life sentence for something, is notified in prison, breaks out, reunites with an old friend, and they go on a quest across the lands to find what's going on and to basically begin freedom. But like they're afraid of this bounty hunter called the Dark Whisper. And like so even got this like kind of cool little
Oh yeah.
glowy face there. The Dark
Almost
Whisper.
like a almost like an anime look to the art.
Yeah. It's and definitely in some ways, let me find like a good representation that's family friendly. Um because I didn't realize it was gonna be the type of mature that it is.
Oh yeah. I get you.
It's not the worst because a lot of it, the fact is you're dealing with fantasy creatures.
Right.
So at
But
least it's a
still, you get
yeah,
the gist.
yeah, it's
Oh yeah, there's a big stabby stab.
yeah, there's a big stab. Um, I
Okay.
just
Who's the
remember
artist?
the artists are Chris Anka and Matt Wilson.
All right. Don't know him.
Nope, not me either.
Good
And
on you, Chris and Matt.
yeah, but there's so in very much fashion as to the current season of House of Dragon, there's a scene where a mother has to go yank their child out of a brothel,
Oh, okay.
like their adult child out of a brothel. And
Sort of like
so
Saga.
very much so. And I get Saga vibes as well. But this was just a really good book, and I have not been back to the comic shop with time to look in a minute. And I'd forgot that I had pulled this out in the first place.
Well, that's
So
awesome.
I
Joy
totally
find.
I totally plan to follow up the next couple issues. So that's my first
Coolio.
one. What you got?
I promote I never collect Star Trek books. I just don't. I love Star Trek. I love Star Trek. But I got Star Trek Annual uh from IDW because on the cover is it's like a split cover, but it's Data, half of Data and in his like regular outfit, the other half in the Sherlock Holmes hat and Geordi as Watson, and it had me. I just had to buy it. I have no clue what's going on in the Star Trek universe, and you didn't need to pick this up. There's a nice little blip at the beginning that tells you what has happened, and it jumps right in. Data is leaving. He's resigning from Starfleet because he has to go find Lore, his evil brother, because Lore has captured something called the God Killer Array, which has something to do with the Bajorans. I mean, we get everybody in here. You get the Klingons, Bajorans. He goes and gets Chief O'Brien to help him. And while they're doing something, they have to be rescued by Geordi LaForge. So, and it has a great story. It ends with Data being captured by Lore. Lore says, if you want to catch Data, just give him a mystery to solve, something like that. And it ends with a very cool Data. Lore's got Data's head on the chair. They're in a spaceship, and then it says, if you want to find out what happens next, get issue 23 of Star Trek. And I thought it was a great story to pull in people and to start reading their book. I mean, because it's got me intrigued. I had no intentions, but I picked it up because, yeah, you got to love
The
Data
cover
and
got you.
Geordi.
Yep.
Yeah, the cover got me, and it wasn't even the A cover. It's the B cover. And I can't stand variant covers. Nothing against the artist and everything. It's just I end up going and buying the same book 4 times because I thought I don't have it.
Okay, so whenever I get another one, I'm gonna tell you about that too.
Gotcha.
Um,
So what do you got next, brother?
so I'm gonna just put these together as one book, but Ain't No Grave 2 and 3.
Oh, yeah.
Um,
Scotty Young.
Scotty Young with if you've ever there's a video game called Darksiders, where you play as Death, and
Hey,
this has kind of a Darksiders vibe, but it's a mother trying to uh, and I think I may have mentioned this on the last episode. It's a mother trying to prolong her life to take care of her child by what we understand, and she literally goes into the netherworld to take on death and claim her life from her for her child.
mhm.
Gritty western, great backstories. The backstory
It's
and
mature as well.
it is also mature. Sorry, I'm full of all the saucy books these days. Um,
Oh, I got a couple saucy ones too, so it's okay.
um, the storytelling is really great. That it very much in a Tarantino-esque fashion bounces between backstory and current story, and it will literally be mid-sentence where the sentence carries over to the backstory, and it's really good storytelling. The art's good.
His art is gorgeous.
And just the way it's pulled across has been pretty stinking entertaining. And the one thing I can say is this: I've not read the Fairyland book,
I haven't either.
but with the Me You Love in the Dark,
You like that. And I loved Strange Academy. He did
yeah.
Strange Academy, the first
And
one.
so Scotty's solo books have been really entertaining. Not so, but his original pieces for me
Mhm.
have been really dope. So that's me. That's my
Yeah.
two.
Okay. I picked up last week The Nice House by the Sea, which is DC Black Label, James Tinian. This is if you know if folks out there can remember, he did The Nice House by the Lake or on the Lake. Nice House on the Lake. We got to get our prepositions right. I can't remember. And this is very similar. The Nice House on the Lake, they had 10 people at a house, didn't know how they got there. They some of them knew one another. They didn't know what was going on. You come to find out, this book's been out for years, so I'm not spoiling anything. You come to find out that the guy who brought them there was an alien and that the world was being destroyed and he was bringing these people there. They realize they can't die, they think. And it this just falls apart tremendously. This is very similar and very different at the same time. These 10 people are handpicked by a different being named Max, not Walter, who picked the other ones. And they're like a senator, a mathematician. We get a priest this time, which I was like, oh, I want to see what happens with this.
Yeah, that's gonna get interesting.
An actor, a singer, a scientist, a doctor, and they all knew that the world was going to end. And they were chosen for this. At one point, you get a flashback, as we got flashbacks in the original thing, where one of the characters is in a romantic relationship with the alien, and like you're picking all the best people, and then the guy says, "Well, what if we end up not being the best people?" And the alien goes, "Well, then I guess one of the other houses will win." So that's like, oh no, how many houses are out there? The interesting thing about this is that the doctor has control over everything that the alien had control over in the other book. So you don't like the way you look? He can change the way you look. You want it to have sun up now? He can make sun up now. And it's going to be another just experiment on the human condition and how people deal with. It opens up. They've been in there 2 years. So we'll see what goes from there.
Okay.
It's really good. Same premise, different premise. Yeah.
I'm excited though, because that does sound entertaining.
It's very entertaining. I just want to see, honestly, how the priest is handled. Is that
I mean, too. You said that, and I'm like, okay, now I'm in for this. I put it in
so
as soon as I saw the title, I had to put in my pulls.
yeah, I didn't know it was coming out
Either.
until like Wednesday of of new pulls, and I didn't even get to go to the comic book shop. I was like, I emailed my comic book guy and go, "Can you put one back for me?" He's like, "Done." I was like, "Good, thank goodness." But the priest, I think, had one main thing. People were changing the way their bodies look, and he was like, we need to sort of do something about this. This isn't right." That was about it. So we'll see what happens.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna hit up Wonder Woman 11.
Okay. All right. I got words.
You got words?
I do. I loved it.
I loved it. But here's the one thing I'll say. This poor book keeps getting sidetracked
Okay.
by
Yes.
every freaking like tie-in,
Yes. It's
and
terrible.
it's like, can we tell a story? Can we?
But Tom King did a good job with this.
He did, and this was ridiculously entertaining. But I read 10 and then immediately followed by 11.
Yeah, that has nothing. Yeah, it's like, what? Where is this?
Yeah,
The
it's
cool
just like
thing about this book is that you get to find the only real reason that Wonder Woman would lie,
yeah.
because she's playing BS, the card game that they
Yeah.
played in How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days. And I was like, oh, that's hilarious.
It is. But like, 10 of this book was like a heartfelt conversation between Cheetah and Wonder Woman and all this
Yes.
exposition and like eternal friendship, and it was gorgeous. And then we get into this utter chaos of all the magic users are hanging out at Wonder Woman's place and crap gets real wrong.
Yeah.
And this was entertaining. It was wonderful. But I would have loved it if this stuff would have actually been cohesive.
Right. I mean,
'Cause
that
her
happened with the Nightwing book, and it was like one of the Batman stupid things that happened.
yeah,
Like
it was
Fear State, Back to Future, something, I don't know.
it was it was one of the fear states did it. It was one of the Beast War thingies.
Oh yeah. It's like, please.
And it's just please stop.
But
But
here's the deal. I'm going to tell you right now, because that's an absolute power tie-in. I'm enjoying the summer spectacles this year. A couple years ago, I haven't. This absolute power, I really enjoy, and I really enjoy Blood Hunt from
I,
Marvel.
I've got some Blood Hunt in my pulls.
All right, good deal. I can't wait to talk about those too. All
All
right,
right.
so my next pull is okay. So here's the bad part now. My next three books are all written by Jason Aaron's. I'm like, what's going on with Jason Aaron's?
Jason Aaron
He's
writes some good stuff, dude.
he's like on fire. Well, this is Berserker, a face full of bullets.
I saw that.
Um, so this takes place in the 1860s, and
This was a pause. Just say, did you see that Keanu Reeves got an Inkpot award for Berserker?
oh yes, I did see that.
That's pretty
Yeah,
cool. All right, go ahead.
and it's funny because he's titled on this first, and he doesn't have anything to do with it. It's like he just, of course, is the character
He
in the book.
created it.
He did create it, and I can't wait for the show when it comes out on Netflix. I will watch it. Which, by the way, they're also doing Barbaric, which I love that comic. They're creating that into a show on Netflix, and the Psycho Axe is voiced by Patrick Stewart. So I can't
Nice.
wait for that. Yeah. So this takes place in the 1860s. What happens is they're in the Kansas territory, and Keanu is. It opens up with him is hanging from a tree, and a little kid has to shoot him down, and then he saves that little kid. But the gist of the story is, and I'm saying this because there's a lot of Bible and a lot of scripture in this, and it ain't great. So this girl is marrying a man, someone she loves, out in the field, and there's a pastor there, and then it becomes Kill Bill real quick. Her dad sends goons to kill the groom, kill the preacher, but he doesn't want her killed, leave her alive. And she says, actually even says in the book, that I said an Old Testament prayer. I want vengeance. I want the death of the Philistines. I want, this is in their scripture quoted. And then Keanu Reeves' character shows up, who, if everybody knows, Keanu Reeves' character, the Berserker, is like part alien. He lives forever. He gets shot up and he regenerates. And then
He's Bloodsport with better hair.
yeah. And So he takes care of those people, and then she's like, I want you to kill my dad. I want you to kill every one of them. I want vengeance. And he goes, I can't do that, but I can get you out of this territory. And so it's then them, what happens to them to get her to the Missouri territory. And at the end, the dad does show up to kill him or whatever. And Keanu leaves to go take care of the dad and all those. And then catches back up with the daughter and drops the daughter off. And she goes, how did you kill him? And he's like, I didn't kill him. She's like, what? And she's like, why? Because you need to be better than me. You need to be better than him. You've got to choose, life and betterment and stuff like that. So then they fast forward about 5 to 10 years, and the Civil War is going on, and she is there tending wounded soldiers, and she is a nun. She's found a new groom. And one of the people that she helps, she doesn't realize it at the moment, but is Keanu Reeves. And you come to find out that Keanu did kill her dad pretty bad, but just told her he didn't, so that she would make a choice between vengeance or not. And she chose wisely. It was a really good book, well written. Use a lot of scripture in it in a hellfire and brimstone type of way. Very Old Testament, like rough stuff. I think it's past Old Testament. I mean, but
Pre-Testament.
It's pre-Testament. But she does choose a better path at the end, which was nice. So
Okay.
yeah, Berserker, no vowels.
Uh,
What do you got?
I'm only going to hold up one of these because I don't have the other one easily accessible. But the Fantastic
Oh,
Four Blood Hunt
yes,
issues.
so good.
Um,
Okay, good, because I only have one Marvel book in my pools, and I'm like a Marvel apologist all the time. But it's hard to choose the books because of like almost every Marvel book is involved in the Blood Hunt.
yeah, I
So
don't think Daredevil is, and I'm grateful for that.
no, it's not. No.
Um, but I mean, that's the thing. Most of the Fantastic Four books are just wacky situations anyway,
Right?
and so this is par for the course for them. Um, but getting Reed and
Alicia.
Alicia trying to rescue people in the middle of a vampire apocalypse with Reed stretching himself too thin, literally and physically, um, while the rest of the family tries to keep people alive at their house. It was just a solid book. It was creative. The interactions between Alicia and Ben and Reed were solid. Really enjoyed those, and it was just fun to read. I liked 21 better than 22. Like,
Yes. There was
but
some good dialogue between Reed and Alicia.
yeah, and that was the big thing was like I enjoyed their dialogue a lot. Like you can sell me on a book pretty easily with good dialogue.
Yeah.
Just saying. But yeah,
Yeah.
what you got?
I love Fantastic Four. So this is my only Marvel book, and I don't even know if people would consider it a Marvel book. It is Uncle Scrooge and the Infinity Dime. It's another book written by Jason Aaronson. This book was delightful. Like, and this is an all ages book. And if you have young kids that like we get into go out and buy this. Now, granted, this book is $8. It's $7.99.
Cheese and crackers.
But there's a reason. There's basically 2.5 comic books in this book. So this is really a what if type book. What happens is in this universe, Scrooge McDuck, there was an old comic put out by Don Rosa and Carl Banks ages ago called Christmas at Bear Mountain. And it is about Donald and Huey, Dewey, and Louie showing up at Scrooge McDuck's for Christmas. And Scrooge is dressed as a giant bear. And then a little bear thinks he's his daddy bear. And anyway, it's silly and funny. Well, something happened, and Donald and Huey, Dewey, and Louie didn't make it to Scrooge's house. So Scrooge then believes that no one loves him, and he becomes just angry at the world and bitter. And cool thing is that they include that original comic in this comic. So the OG 60s, whatever, 50s comic book is put in here as well. So you can go back, you can read it after you read the main story. So what happens is while Scrooge is down in his money bin, his big vault, his lucky dime that he keeps around him gets almost pulled into a mirror that he got from Magica Dispel. So we're getting all of the duck lore here from everything. And what it was another character reaching through to try to grab his dime. So then you find that this person is the evil one who tries to collect all of the special dimes from all of the multiverse. So you have they have to go to Gyro Gear Loose to help figure this out. You get the Beagle Boys, all of the Scrooges from all the other universes that have had their dimes and money stolen from the Lord of the Dime is what he's called instead of the Lord of the Rings. I know it's absolutely silly, but it is so fun and refreshing. And at one point they have to have this huge, but there's all these Beagle Boys, and what they do is they release the Donalds. So like all the crazy Donald Ducks from all the multiverses and are fighting the Beagle Boys, and it has a great ending. You know, the evil McScrooge comes in and realizes the error of his ways, and they include him in their. You were all family in this big multiverse or whatever, and so there's a great ending. And there's a great letter from Jason Aaron's about why he wrote it and what is on his heart when he did it. And not only that, at the end you get a 5 or 6 page preview of what if Donald
Became Wolverine.
became Wolverine. So yeah, I loved it. I read it multiple times. It's really good. Anyway, I would really encourage folks to get that, especially for the kids if you can.
And did you watch the updated DuckTales series?
No, I haven't.
Dude, I think you would have a time of your life.
I probably would love it.
It's wonderful.
Yeah.
You've David Tennant is Scrooge.
Oh wow, yeah. I guess it's on Disney Plus, I'm assuming.
Yeah, it's on Disney Plus. Abed from Community
Yeah,
is one of the trio.
Nice.
He's either Huey, Dewey, or Louie.
Gotcha.
The guy who voices Sonic the Hedgehog is one of them.
Well, strong.
Catherine Tate is Magica Dispel.
What is it? Is it like what Doctor Who, man? Everything's Doctor Who.
Oh, and there's Doctor Who references in it.
Oh wow.
And then they heavily cast the show. Miles Morales' mom is from Across the Spider-Verse is
Daisy.
no, Quentin, Gizmo Duck's alter ego.
Oh, okay. I can't remember.
I can't. It's something Quentin something. But his mom is the mom from Spider-Verse. Lin-Manuel Miranda is Gizmo Duck.
These are just people having a blast.
That's
They're
literally.
like, hey, do you want to be in my show? Yeah, I want to be in your show.
You can literally tell these people are just having the time of their lives.
Okay, I gotta watch it.
Sold. But the best Marvel tie-in for this, like just to say this is why I went there, because we're doing the whole Marvel tie-in with it, is during one of the big climactic things. Oh, you get Darkwing too, eventually.
Oh, nice.
Darkwing gets his own thing towards the end of the run. There comes an episode where, because of some of Magic is Magic, Donald is able to be heard clearly.
Oh wow, that's fun. Oh yeah.
And guess who voices clear voice Donald?
I don't like somebody for English, like I don't know who.
It's Don Cheadle.
Oh wow, that's great.
So
Don Cheadle.
He's dapper
great.
and like,
Yeah. That's
like,
so great.
He's like,
all right, I got to listen to that.
He's like, what? This is how I always sound. He's like, what do y'all hear?
That's great, man.
Yeah.
Well.
So I'm just gonna throw this in
Go ahead.
Superman number 15. Superman was great up until the first 13 episodes or issues. Then we got into the Lobo Brainiac War.
House of Brainiac. Yep.
Yeah, House of Brainiac. And this is the end of that. And I put this one in here solely for the dialogue between Brainiac and Superman towards the end of it. I made a meme out of it, but like the dialogue was solid, and it does lay a good layer of understanding into where the Brainiac clone comes from in terms of absolute power.
Mm-hmm. The
Some
brain the you mean the Queen,
the
Brainiac
Queen,
Queen?
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that being said, this was just good. Had good dialogue. I've enjoyed Williamson's run on Superman.
Yeah.
I've got the absolute power tie-in that comes after this that I've not read yet. Um, so yeah,
Okay.
I got to
All
catch up.
right.
But I
You
enjoyed
do.
this.
That's right. All right. Good deal. Well, my last book, and I was going to save it as my new number one, but heck, every single one of mine were number ones. So I could do this, but is also by Jason Aaron. Sorry, Jason, or thank you, Jason, whichever you would say. Is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles number one?
I've got that in my pile to read as well, but I'm looking forward to it. Yeah.
It is awesome. It plays. You could be a new reader or an old reader, and you'd be fine. So, for full disclosure, I owned the first printing of issue 2 through 47, and a third printing of issue 1. I collected them when I was in high school, 1984, at one time. Sold them to raise money for a church. Anyway, God loves a cheerful giver. So that is where my heart lies, the original. And this feels so good. What Jason Aaron is doing is the first 4 issues, if I'm not mistaken, are going to be just solo turtles. And this one opens up with Raphael in prison. And we get his inner dialogue, which is just, he's at one point says, like, I'm bile and gristle all wrapped up in a turtle shell. And all I am is anger. It calms me down. It allows me to, and I speak with my fists, and and there's a lot to say or something like that. It's just, it's just listening to, he's in jail. We figure out that he's sort of like fighting evil from inside the jail, but he has something to where the warden has something over him, but something happens to where he has to escape, and he realizes that if they're after him, they're after all his brothers, and he's got to go find the rest of his brothers. And the next issue is going to spotlight Michelangelo. So Joel Jones's art is awesome. There are some action scenes where basically it's just the background disappears. I know it's completely on purpose. It's just pure action. And then there's times when he like thinks about his brothers, and it's like so nostalgic in those little panels. So yeah, this is great. It's a great jumping on point. I haven't been collecting turtles at all.
The last thing I
But I
read
did.
was Shredder in Hell or whatever.
I read The Last Ronin, which was
Oh, yeah.
good.
I read that
I
one too.
I read that, but other than that, I haven't paid attention. I got the turtles red, black, and white, or blue, green, black, and white, or whatever, and it was all right. It was an anthology. I didn't think it was great, but this is great. A good jumping on point for anybody who used to be a fan or still is a fan. I think you'd be happy with it. That's my
Sweet.
last one.
So my last one is how you talked about the covers looking the same.
Yeah,
Okay.
gotcha.
So I've got Zatanna brings down the house.
Yes.
Now look at this cover.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Nice shiny one.
Yep. Oh, nice. Same cover, but
Different
not the same
book.
cover. What?
1 and 2, bro.
Oh my gosh. This was terrible. I
1
wouldn't know what
and
to do.
2.
I would not know what to do. Now, is this Black Label?
Yes.
Okay.
It's
Yeah.
not very black label-y.
I know, but I think they just do that because they're like, well, it's just not in continuity. We can do whatever we want.
Also throw some anatomy in there.
Oh, that's true too. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
this is none of that so far.
So what do you think? How do you like it? Because I believe it or not, I love the Zatanna on Webtoons. It was great.
It was great.
And I've really gotten to appreciate her. And actually, I think in the Superman book, the next Superman book you read, Zatanna is on the cover.
Yes, she is.
I won't give that away. So,
yeah.
We're getting more Zatanna, if you notice.
So what I'll say about this is this. Have you read this?
No, I haven't. I haven't picked it up.
This reads and feels more like Hellboy than anything.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And let me show you some art. because I think you might even like there's like a
Who's the
deep
artist?
artist is uh oh, that's not surprising. It's Javier Rodriguez,
Okay. Yeah.
and Mariko Tamaki wrote it.
Oh, okay.
Um Let me find a good appropriate
A good
panel.
appropriate panel.
But
Gotcha.
like, look at this. That's
Okay,
them fighting a
Hector's.
demon.
Oh, I love that style.
Yeah, it's very
It's
the
very
style.
pulpy, I would say,
Yes, the style is very pulp. It is
which
very
is
Hellboyish.
it
But
does. And the colors are really great too.
the whole premise of this book so far is Zatanna is in Vegas doing her show, but Zatanna does not do magic.
Okay. What does she do? Sleight of hand?
Yeah, that's it.
It's all
She won't
sleight of
touch
hand
magic, even though she's literally brimming with it,
because of
because
her dad.
yeah, because she accidentally killed her father.
Okay.
And so uh a magical woman shows up at one of her shows and is there because she needs Zatanna and her power, and there's organizations of magic people coming for her.
Gotcha. And they're
But
going to
she's
have
like,
to like steal money from a vault. There's going to be four of them. And Morgan Freeman's going to end up in the vault at the end.
yes.
Gotcha.
Uh, uh, but she's just like, I don't do magic, and it's all the dad trauma and everything else with it, and
Oh, man. That seems
so
really good. I probably will have to pick this up now. I
um
hate
it
that. I'm
it's
supposed to be cutting my books down, not adding books to them.
so on that note,
Oh,
uh
yeah.
we're our
Man.
new segment, bag and board, BORED, because we're tired of things or we're running low on it.
Hmm.
What book do you feel like you are about done with, or you've kind of lost your patience with?
Um, honestly, there are two books, and I hate to mention it. First of it's Captain America. Um, Captain America, we got J. Michaels. I can't pronounce his last name, Stravinsky or whatever.
Yeah.
He took over, and it started out really good, and now it's completely mythical. Some type of otherworldly, I don't know, another land. I don't know. There's a place inside New York where the weary travelers can go, and it's a special. And he's supposed to be the guardian of it. And he's supposed to be collecting people and fighting demons and all this. I don't know. It's I I literally about ready to cut it loose. I was about ready to cut loose Poison Ivy, and then it yanked me back in.
Did it?
Yeah.
That I was gonna say I'm an issue behind. I've got 24 sitting over in my pile of stuff I didn't make it to.
Hmm.
And
My
yeah,
my other book that I'm about, and they're Marvel books. I mean, is the Immortal Thor. Um, it's just I don't know if it's Ewing doing his immortal thing, and if anybody read Immortal Hulk was great, and then it was weird, and then it was a slog until they stuck the landing, and I feel like we're in the slog part of Immortal Thor, and it's just I don't know, it's just losing me in it. I still like it somewhat, but I mean, it's $5, that's $10. And the problem is now that we're going to start getting all new stuff is coming up at the end of these, at the end of Blood Hunt. It's one nation under one world under doom. There we go. And after this absolute power, DC's launching their ultimate universe called the Absolute Universe. So I got to make way for new books. And I'm afraid those are two that are definitely on the chopping block. What about you, Hector?
Poison Ivy was. Now I've not read 24. Um, I'll say this: Helverine got two issues out of me because my comic shop provider was being nice and said, "Oh, I'm going to throw these in here. I think you'll like these." And I was like, "No, bro, this was
No,
hot
it's not
garbage."
for me.
I was like, "This was not it,
I
man."
was starting to get tired of Daredevil, but it's turned around quick in the last 3 or 4 issues. It's been really good.
It really has. Batman and Robin is probably on the way out.
Ditto, but they just finished a story arc.
Okay.
So the issue with Batman and Robin for me is the artist.
Yeah. Yeah.
Daniel DeNiccolo, I think is her name. It's just it feels more very anime-ish, very manga to a point, and the coloring is so. It's for the way she does her coloring is hard for me to see, where I have
Um,
that colorblind and stuff going on.
Red Hood and the Hill, I think this is the last issue, so it's on its
Yeah,
way out organically.
it is done. I love it when that happens, when I can just drop one.
Well, and here's the thing. I complained for the better part of 3 years
Yeah, because
that
they never finished the story.
because they never finished the story, Cody Rhodes. And now that I got the story, they should have left it.
Should have just stopped.
They should have just left me with something to complain about because the what I got was not satisfying. Um, yeah, it just felt like
Okay.
somebody else's story that they just shoehorned
Gotcha. Well, I got a
Jason in.
question for you. What book
Yeah.
was on the way out? And now you're like, this has turned awesome.
Ooh.
Since you threw this at me at the last second, I'll throw one at you.
Uh,
I'll share mine while you think.
go ahead.
Outsiders.
Okay.
Outsiders has. I am a huge Planetary fan.
Yes, you are.
I think I've sent you a copy. I think I've sent Chris a copy, because I love it so much. And you got Hello Darkness.
Yeah,
That was rough.
that was rough. I almost
Yeah.
put it in there, but yeah.
Yeah, I got it, and I was thinking anyway. So it is really really tying in the old Wildstorm titles. Like we're getting Authority, Planetary, and at one point they go to a place where old stories die, and we get old DC characters that you haven't been in a comic in forever that are stuck in this place where stories go to die, which
Okay.
it was just like a diner out in the middle of nowhere type thing. And I'm really enjoying Outsiders. So yeah.
So I would say She-Hulk was close to that for me, like on the way out, but
Mhm.
it saved itself. I will say this, and I'm not saying that I'm not going to read this further, but I'm going to say it took a hard turn in 3 of Napalm
Okay.
Lullaby.
All right.
It went from being a really cool mythical story to being a very heavy-handed uh critique of the church,
Oh,
which the church deserves some analysis, criticism, and discussion.
hey, if somebody's talking about it, they're talking about it.
Yeah. But man, this went from like la di da to church sucks.
Oh,
Like,
wow. Yeah.
church sucks, God sucks. It went
Raised
from here to here.
raised to stay.
Yeah, it did. I'm trying to make my way through her follow-up book right now.
Oh, okay.
I got the advanced copy of it to be on her
Ooh.
street team, and I'm
Well,
reading through that now.
awesome.
And
Good deal.
yeah. All right. Well, I think that about does it for us here at the Pull List Podcasts. And before we roll out, want to make sure you know that this is episode 103. It's now going to be in your ears and your eyeballs. And speaking of your eyeballs, we now have our own dedicated YouTube channel.
Woohoo!
YouTube for the Pull List Podcast, youtube.com/ at the Pull List LTN. So it's not as hard as it sounds.
That's a
but
lot of words.
It is, but you can find all of the Pull List episodes there, including this one. And there's just going to be some really cool opportunities with that. We couldn't possibly do this alone. As many of you know, we take this epic journey of podcasts and fandom with lots of other amazing podcasts, which also now have their own YouTube channels. On the Love Thy Nerd Podcast Network, but you can find all of this stuff over at lovethynerd.com to get into the rotation with that, as far as also finding on LTN radio. But we also want to let you know that The podcast is now part of the Glue Network, GLU, which is a streaming platform available on Roku and Smart TV, as well as via iPhone, Android apps. Glue exists to unlock the inspirational value of faith-centric programming, partnering with Christian content creators like Love Thy Nerd, the Pull List podcast, and all the other things. We are proud to join our friends at God Squad Church and Unity Gaming for the first group, as the first group of nerd culture channels on the platform. You can get Glue Network app today and search for Love Thy Nerd. So, Todd, thank you for joining on and jumping in as we start off. I love it too, man. It was good to talk to you. I've seen you twice this year, like, and now
in realsies, IRL.
Yep, and IRL, and across multiple states and everything. And there were people talking about your booth at my show this weekend.
Oh, well, let's talk about that off air.
But they're just bragging on Mosaic fan art, and just the stuff that was there. I was like, yeah, that's my friend. But yeah, it's been good. So thank you for joining with us. Thank you for being a part of this and letting us be a part of your story and the stories that you enjoy. And remember, kids,
read more comics.
Boop.
I'm gonna take all 7 continents as a game of risk. I'm the master of epic